as it's been brought to light quite recently, like with that nonsense Tai Chi guy we were talking about, pushing hands, because it's got a bit of a bad rep, but we do it all the time, and it's like our bread and butter, and it's, you know, for whenever I've got a class with my guys, or it's what you're doing with your training partner, because when you're not with them, you can't do it. So I'd like maybe if you could discuss that, because like I said, a lot of people have maybe practiced some type of pushing hands, but it's very different to what we would talk about as pushing hands. Maybe some people don't really know what it is, and I think others, again, don't even want to push because they've seen some old Tai Chi guy doing it and then get knocked out and go, well, what's that got to do with fighting?
Yeah.
So maybe if you could explain.
Well, I guess there's different kinds of push hands, because in Tai Chi you would learn, traditionally you would learn, called a dalwer, which is this, isn't it? You would learn this pattern first. So this is a pattern you learn from here. You would learn to do all your, your techniques and whatever. So it's just like a learning process. You would learn, it's just like learning your alphabet almost. You wouldn't call that, you're not Stephen King just because you can say, your alphabet, but you need it.
To know words.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you're not Stephen King yet. So that's also called Tui Shou in Chinese.
I guess you've got various different styles and groups have their own versions.
Well, yeah, probably. You have dancing, Tui Shou, and blah, blah, blah. And then you have what you can pretty much call Ziyou Tui Shou, which would be like freestyle. So that's a step up. Again, that's what you need to practice. So if you practice Tai Chi and you practice a fixed pattern, and then if you practice techniques, that's stage one. Then you need to practice Ziyou Tui Shou, which is like freestyle, it's like wrestling, pretty much like wrestling. I mean, if you want to, or you can put on all your techniques, which you've learned, which you should be pretty good at by now, if you're practicing Tai Chi, into that. So you can also do your locks and your throws in a safe environment with a teacher, because you don't want to be breaking arms and.
Like
so it would become more like old
judo.
style judo or something like that. You could even put hitting in, which would then be called san shou as opposed to tui shou. San means to separate. So basically, if you're practicing freestyle wrestling, or pushing, which is pretty much like wrestling, I suppose. But so you'd be practicing, listening, sticking, adhering. All in angles and all the things, all building up your handwork and footwork, because you need to move. There's no good staying fixed style pushing, which is
again you see a lot of.
You see a lot in the West. You never see it in China. I've never seen it in China. Never. It's just not freestyle wrestling. Obviously, if you're doing fixed patterns, you might. But then again, you need to move. That's why in the old style Tai Chi, they have a lot of stepping
patterns as well.
7-star.
Nine
palace and dalu, big circles and small circles and all kinds of stuff. But if you're practicing Ziyou freestyle, you can't be standing still. It's just pathetic. It's just Western nonsense. You need to move it. So you need to practice your footwork, and the teacher again should be helping you. What kind of footwork you'll be doing, blah blah blah, triangle, this stepping, that stuff, and then you'll be practicing your handwork. And in your angles and blah blah blah, all the things you need to be. If you get good at pushing like that, then the next stage, Tui Shou, then the next stage is usually they're called Da Shou. So Tui Shou is just pushing. So you're pushing blah blah blah. Yeah. The next stage would be Da Shou. Would be you're adding the hits. Yeah. So that would be the next stage. So Da Shou. The next stage from that is San Shou.
Yeah, no hands on.
So you're building it up from touching, wrestling, touching, finding your angles. The next stage is Da Shou. So you're putting in locks and throws, and then the next stage is San Shou, which are completely separate. So you're learning from the inside out, not from the outside in. That makes sense. You're not learning out here first, and then you touch, and then what do I do?
Yeah.
You're learning in here first, so you know what to do, ideally. Yeah, exactly. So, and then you're learning from the out. So you're learning out how to close the gap on all your angles, and then when you touch, well, you know what to do because you do it all the time. So it's like that way of learning. Yeah. So pushing hands is, as far as we're concerned, is vital.
It's essential. Yeah.
It's essential.
It's a tool to learn all of the
handwork, bodywork, footwork, techniques, everything.
Put the theory into practice.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's almost
you learn that before you would learn,
your free fight.
Yeah. Because when you do touch, your gaps of knowledge are full.
Mm. But there's nothing wrong with learning, or at least including, say, sparring or free.
I wouldn't spar early because, like I said, if you don't know what you're doing, you build bad habits. But if you don't know what you do, if you don't know what to do, like you're sparring your touch, and then you think, well, what do I do? So what you do is you separate.
Right.
Because you don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Or you might grab. Well, exactly. You should know what to do. Or you might grab. You see people grabbing because they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So the idea is, if you spar too early, it can be messy. It's not very skillful, maybe.
Sure.
If you build up from the inside, to out, then when you do spar and you do touch, you know exactly what to do because you've done that stage.
Yeah. So say it's almost akin to. Like rolling in BJJ is a huge part of practice.
Well, it's essential. You
wouldn't do it without it, would you?
No.
So it's almost.
Well, I expect there's somebody out there who is teaching, without it.
Online, giving away belts.
Well, there's a bank of it. But there will be in the future if there isn't.
Any more social distancing.
Exactly. Well, it's just a way to make money without actually having to do any work, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tai Chi you see today and you try and you see today.
Sure.
But
because then you don't need the skills.
You don't need the skills to back it up. Absolutely. So you need pushing is essential if you're taught properly. If you're not taught properly, then it's not essential. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But it's important. Yeah. It's a missing link for a lot of people because they might go from whatever form they practice, whether it's praying mantis or tombe, to sparring. Without this building blocks on the inside, knowing what to do. So step by step, you're locking, you're throwing, and all your angles are building. So you know what to do. So you don't know what to do. So as soon as you touch, you just separate, or you grab.
It goes back to boxing almost.
It goes back to bad boxing.
Yeah.
Bad.
Let's not give that bad rep.
No,
boxing. We love it.
We love boxing. So it goes back to bad boxing.
Staying on that, for example, one from Zai with his Yichuan had 7 defined steps in the learning process it's almost like a matrix. You need all of it.
You need all of them. If you want to be a whole, a bit like MMA, if you want to be a complete
you need
fighter, you need lots of things.
Stand up, you need some wrestling, you want some kicking.
You need, the better you are at each stage,
then you put it into yourself.
Yeah.
So again, because it's quite clearly he thought of it being an important step. Why would you think that it's missing in various? Because it's not been shown properly, or?
Well, a lot of it's that, and a lot of I guess. You still find good people in China, schools in China, but the way the world is now, and the way China is, it's just. If you've been to China, you know it's more money obsessed than the West. Not that went through a period. Went through a period of communism where money was not the issue really, but now no one's got time for martial arts. There's no money in martial arts. You don't see really rich. People want to be doctors and lawyers and engineers. And there's no time for suffering.
Yeah, maybe that's why again you've got a lot of the wacky, esoteric, fake masters that can almost bring a cult-like
there is
group
that.
to make
money. I think
a
lot of them, they don't realise they're fake either. They think
put their own false reality in.
Yeah, but it will happen. It will happen to BJJ. You wait and see. It'll happen. There'll be people that will, but it will. And what might not happen a lot, but it will happen. There will be people teaching without really rolling
through the process.
There will be
getting choked 1,000 times. And going through the hard work.
Yeah, there will be people doing it. If there isn't now, there will be. Just like in China now, there are people. You wouldn't have thought so 100 years ago. If you'd have said, "I'm a martial arts teacher," you would have literally, there'll be people knocking on your door. Seriously, are you teach martial arts? let's go. You know, but now, no one's going to knock on your door if you say you're a martial arts teacher. My teacher students still go around looking. They still go around looking. I told you. If they hear someone's teaching, they'll go and knock on the door, or they'll go to the park and they will challenge them. Still. You know, so there are that kind of old school, but it's not so many now.
You don't see that in the West, really.
No, of course not. No,
it's maybe with an odd few people.
You don't really see it in China, it's just dying out. But like I said, even there it does go on. But in the old days, if you popped your head up and said, you're a martial arts teacher, you better have the goods to back it up, because there'll be people knocking on your door or looking for you.
Otherwise you better shut your mouth.
Well, exactly, but now it doesn't matter, does it?
Doesn't
Doesn't matter, because you can do a few forms and get away with it.
Yeah.